Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? This is Wise and Wine with Prophetess Tamara Bell.
In Spain, Hollis.
Please let us know if you can hear us. Please let us know if you can hear us in the chat. Let us know if you can hear us in the chat. And if you haven't shared the video, go ahead and share the video. Tag for and DM5. Tag for DM5 and share the video. Y'all, we got some good conversation on tonight. So if you got some friends that's married, hello, some wives that you're connected to, I'm going to need you to go ahead and share the video with them, tag them, go in their DM, because what we're going to talk about tonight, we're dealing with vision in the marriage. And the conversation, me in Spain, we were talking earlier, and you guys, y'all are in for a treat tonight. But make sure you let us know if you can hear us or not. And if you're tuning in from YouTube, make sure you let us know that you're tuning in from YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're not following us on Facebook, definitely follow us on Facebook at Increase CORGL and also Increase TV, you guys. All right, you guys, are you ready? Are you ready? Again, we're going to be talking vision. We're going to be talking vision. And so on tonight, you guys, if you're married, the first thing I want to say is I tip my hat to you, okay? That's the first thing. Another thing is that I want to also bring to you. Wise and Wine actually came forth from Jesus' first miracle, his first miracle. And that miracle was actually when he turned water into wine, and he did it at a wedding. And a lot of people don't know that that was actually the first miracle documented that Jesus actually did. And it was at a celebration, it was at an actual wedding. And so sometimes as a wife, you have to take a moment to yourself and just sip a glass of wine. Sometimes you got to take a moment to yourself and make sure you're relaxing, because it can get so busy, especially if you're a mom as well. If you work, you own your own business, right? You want to be able to take out the time to yourself. Now, tonight we are talking about vision in the marriage. And a lot of times when you marry, the big question is, are you and your spouse in alignment when it comes to vision? So how has it been for you, Spain, as far as vision is concerned?
Uh, Sometimes it get rocky. More so, one time one person will be on the same page, and then the other will fall off, or vice versa. And most times, it's like if we sit down and we just really understand why we did it to begin with, like what we here for, then it begins to, you know, get the ball rolling. But other than that, it's rough to try to keep your eyes on that.
Right. Especially with everyday life.
Yeah, because it's so distracting. Like anytime we go out, like I have my own business and he has his, and then we try to come together and come to a common ground. But to keep it as a marriage and not a business relationship is rough because it's a fine line.
Right.
Like you'll find yourself having a conversation about clients, and you're like, well, what about this date night? Can we have that? And we're like, we ain't got time for that. We got a lot, but you don't want it to be that way.
Right.
So, in order to just, keep your eyes on what it is that you support, like why you did it to begin with, what's the whole purpose of it, and you'll be okay.
I actually like that you brought up date night, because something that my husband and we actually came to an agreement. And I think agreement is very important when you're married. Come to an agreement. And our focus is building a legacy. And date night is great, but we have made an agreement that we will do that after we get to a certain point financially. And that's our decision, right? Everybody don't do that. But what I've learned throughout life and what he's learned throughout life is sometimes we want to live in the moment instead of focusing on the future, which will one day be the moment.
Oh yeah.
And we just made that decision that, okay, if we just work really hard these next few years, we will not only have a date night, but we will have it the way we desire. Because, my husband always saying I'm expensive. I really don't believe that. But now, do I have expensive taste? I do. I do have expensive taste. But until I get where I need to go financially, I'm okay with where I am because my taste is expensive.
Yeah, that's understandable. But for me, like I gotta have it. I got to. I got to feel chased. I got to feel
Ooh.
wanted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it ain't. I have a. You know how we split the money into percentages and whatnot.
Right.
I've been doing that for years.
Oh, wow.
But usually just in business, not for myself. Does
Got
that
it.
make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so for now, I make sure I put that as a priority too, because it's important for me to date him too.
Right.
Because sometimes they'll feel like, well, I always got to, do the dating.
Wow.
So sometimes, well, I owe him a date. Hey, I got you.
You know what? That's
I owe him a
good.
date. But most times I don't really come out spending a whole lot because I get so creative with stuff. Like one time I know I sent him on a scavenger hunt in the house. So what I did was I printed out some pictures, right? I wrote on the back the next clue. So he'll have to go find another clue in order to get like the big prize, which is more than likely me.
Oh, man.
Just saying, but
I
you
love
have to
that.
get creative with it. Because
Nice.
it's a priority. Because you can
Right.
get lost in the sauce of we got to get this done.
Right.
And I don't ever want to get to that point because I know I'll turn on the business hat real quick and like these are the numbers
Right.
that we need. I don't ever want it to be like that.
Yeah. And I definitely understand that. Now, with our kids, we definitely make sure we do stuff with them. Now, that is a priority because you can't take those years back, even though you can't take the years back with us as well. But I think because we're both business-minded people, and we both want some big things.
Yeah.
It ain't where one is simple and the other is not. Nah, we ain't the same person, but we're a lot alike. So it's like, okay. Now, now this is something we do now. Like, say he's cooking, he'll ask me to help him. So we'll do that. Or we'll call family over and we'll have a family gather. We'll do that. And to be honest, that is very pleasing for me. Like, I I love family. I love the whole getting together and all of that. And so we make sure we do that.
I wish I could do that.
We're going to claim it for you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's done. It's done.
I've been trying to, like with the immediate, yes. But I'm talking about like the big, like family reunions and, going out to probably another city. I don't know, child. Something.
Yeah.
With everybody.
Yeah.
I haven't really experienced that.
Really?
No.
It's worth it. That's all I can say. It's worth it because to see your family, but to see where they came from, how far they done gone, and all of that is good.
I think I'm in the space right now where I done cut most of mine off.
It be like that too now.
So I think I'm in the process of building a new one.
That's good.
Because in the place of whoever I done cut off, somebody else come in the place of them.
That's
and
good.
It's family.
Right.
So I done let go of some relatives because, I got boundaries.
Ooh.
And there's certain things that I just can't, with tradition, it come with tradition.
Right.
And it's like, this has to be this way. You got to be married by age 30. You got to do this. I'm breaking all the rules.
You know what? Tell me about it. I have a great aunt great cousin. And we had got into kind of like a debate because my husband has other kids. Now, if you claim your spouse's children, that's fine. I don't have no problem with that. But for us, it's not that I don't claim them, but when you ask me how many children I got, I say 2. And I was told you don't say that. You say the number that, and I said, no, that's how many he has. I have 2. And we got in a huge debate. She said, y'all young people don't know no better. And I was like, no, I know better. I have 2 kids. If you ask me how many kids I have 2. If you ask me how many kids we have, I'm gonna say together 2. But he has this number. I mean, that's just how I'm gonna say
It's a
it.
preference,
Yeah.
though. And that's what grinds my gears. Is everybody feel like it's supposed to be a certain way?
Right.
It is no cookie cutter marriage, period,
Right.
at all. Like, ain't who are you to determine what I'm supposed to say about my people?
Right.
These my people.
Right.
It don't make sense to me.
Right.
I can't.
And when they come around, I love them like it, I love them like it ain't nothing, But it's like, but that's what you asked me. So I'm gonna answer it the way I'm gonna answer it. But what I realized at that moment was somebody was trying to box me in. And instead of me and my husband being the creator of our marriage, because our marriage is a vision. And we have a certain vision in our mind. Somebody tried to restructure the vision. And so many times I feel like that's where we go wrong. We look at this person over here, we look at that person, and then I'm taking, and sometimes we don't even communicate it with our spouse. And now our spouse is like, hold up, what is coming from now? Wait 1 minute. And we're looking like, well, such and such do this, and this is how it worked for them. But Tamara, you're not married to them. And we have to really understand that because it will mess us up.
Yeah, it'll make you treat them differently.
Yes.
So you can unknowingly adopt characteristics from somebody else's marriage. And it's like, well, I want him to, let's just say, cook me breakfast every morning. Because I seen on Instagram that, this girl had a pretty plate and she was bragging on her man. I want to be able to.
Right.
So it's like you expect for him to do it, or you'll mention it to him expecting for him to do it because of what you saw. Maybe that wasn't
right.
His, like, you got to talk to him because that's who you married to at the end of the day.
Right. And then even though you saw it on Instagram or Facebook, it could have been a I'm sorry meal.
Yeah.
It could have been an I'm sorry meal and the happiness ain't even there.
Yeah. Or she probably could have cooked it herself.
Ooh.
And been like, y'all look what my man did for me. And it's sad because that used to be me.
Really?
Like, I used to look at other people's, certain, because I divide every single situation and put it any type of way that I think it may be. And it's like, I want to be able to have this, or I want to be able to do that, or I want to be able to feel like. You get what I'm saying? Because you can look at something and feel some type of way.
Yeah.
And it's not even meant, like, that's not even the intention of what it is that you saw.
Right.
So it's like, I have to define it for myself. And a lot of people get lost in it. Like, you don't even realize who you are as a person because you've adopted so many characteristics for so long. So now you like an avatar.
Right. Ooh.
Like, you creating yourself to be somebody that you're not even them.
Right.
So then you have to relearn, what is it that I like? What is it that I like to do? What is it that I like to see? Where is it that I like to travel? You want to go to Bali because you seen some celebrity do it, not realizing that it ain't all of what you thought it was going to be. You ain't done your own research. So that's why it's important to be an individual first.
I love that you said you got to know you.
Yeah.
You got to know who you are because even with, I always tell people backtrack because let's remove your spouse for a moment. Mm-hmm. Who did you intend to marry? What life did you intend to see with that person that had no face? That's the part you need to remember. Because when the spouse come along and then or you're in a vulnerable state because you're single, but you desire to be married. So now you're looking at people's marriage and you're just pulling everything together. Step back. Remember the life that you actually wanted.
Yeah, and I think it's important to make sure that we understand what it's for to begin with, because you can have vision for something and not even understand what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Like even for me, for a long time, like my mom and my dad was married for like 26, 27 years before they got divorced.
Wow.
So it's like people would say, I want what y'all got. And I'm sitting over here like, y'all have no idea. But that's just me being a child watching
Right.
and seeing what marriage was for myself. And, technically, I started off like, this is what I don't want. This is how I don't want to end up. But I had to understand that if my focus is more so intended on what I don't want to do, like if I'm on that track, I'm going to always do what it is that I don't want to do because that's what my focus is.
Exactly.
But if I focus on what it is that I want, I can create my own narrative. You get what I'm saying? Like, marriage is the merging of two people who understand the intent that God wanted, that He wants to produce through them.
Right.
So the end goal of what it is for marriage, you only got one instruction, and that's to be fruitful.
Yeah.
So what is it that y'all can produce together? But you can't produce what y'all supposed to produce if you gaining seeds from other people's marriages. It's not gonna work.
And that's why you got to know vision, because even in the word of God with Abraham and Sarah, they had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go deeper, right? Even with David and Bathsheba, that was a whole, wait a minute, it don't supposed to go down like that, but it did.
Mary and Joseph too.
Come on.
That's the deep one.
Yeah,
right there.
right. But then you got Hosea and Gomer, which was the prophet and the prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
So these are 4 different types of marriages, but yet they were all set up where God allowed them to occur. Yeah. But literally, Abraham and Sarah, it was with faith. It was with faith. The vision was to conceive when they couldn't conceive. And it took them a long time to do it. But then you turn around and got David and Bathsheba, who it occurred because he wanted her and she was taken by somebody else. And he just took her, and didn't care and killed for her. Right. So that's another marriage. Then you got Mary and Joseph. And that's like okay, Joseph, this is the first time where the man really got to be like, wait a minute now. I know I ain't did nothing, but you pregnant, and now I gotta stand up to shame.
Yeah.
Because the world says this ain't so. Everybody's saying this ain't possible, but you know what the angel of the Lord, the prophet of the Lord, you know what God said. And can you imagine the stones that were thrown? And he got to stand up and say, I know my woman, my wife hasn't been with anybody. My soon-to-be wife hasn't been with anybody, right? And then you got Hosea and Gomer, where it's like she wanted to be a prostitute, so she kept going to the corner. He had to bring her back because God said you can't let her go.
Let me tell you something. The common denominator between all of the ones that you named is submission.
Ooh, come on, Spain.
Like, in order for that to move forward, somebody had to eventually say, God, I trust you no matter what. Yeah. That is tough.
Yes.
So I was digging deep on Mary and Joseph like the past few days. And what I didn't understand between that particular marriage and just understanding like how did it even happen, because nowadays we got paperwork. So it's like, usually I would look at it as, okay, well, once you sign them papers, you are married, period. That's just for us.
Right.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So when I dug deep on them, I was like, I don't think that's what happened. So when I just went to reading, it was more so like an angel came to Mary, let her knew what was going on. Like, this what's up right here.
Right.
Okay? I'm gonna have you to go along with this because I know who you are. That's, for one, that's God letting her know, I know who you are. I see you.
Right.
Cool. Now Joseph, he had to be submitted too. Because imagine a man being with a woman that he intends to marry and she ends up pregnant knowing that she wasn't supposed to be with nobody. Like, you really have to trust God to believe that.
Right.
So he like, okay, well, I'ma just, do this quietly. I ain't gonna say nothing to nobody. It's, I'ma just keep that on the hush hush because of what other people thought.
Right.
So once the angel came and told him to take them and leave, it was a switch there. Because when the angel intended, like the first time he came and talked to Joseph, he was saying, okay, well, this is what's up with her. But he called her name.
Right.
He said Mary. But when he told them to leave, he called Mary his wife.
Ooh.
That's where the switch happened. It was because God knew that both of them submitted to him.
Right.
That's the marriage. That's where the marriage happened. Because both of them are, okay, well, we trust you.
Right.
Because he had to get to see whether or not both of them were on board with what was coming forth. The seed that was coming forth. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So by them both understanding what God's vision was, that's what made them one. But at the end of the chapter, it said that he didn't know her until she had Jesus, right?
Right.
So I'm like, what is no? Like, he been lying her this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not know who this is? Like,
Right.
you would think that you would know somebody, but when I dug a little deeper, even with Adam and Eve, the word know is you merging with the other person, becoming one flesh with the other person. And it's like, okay, well, that's how you know somebody? Joseph didn't get the chance to really know her until after she had Jesus.
Yeah.
Because the best way that I can put it to make it as plain as I can is when you know that God tells you something and it's both of y'all, like, he ain't finna get one without giving the other one.
Yeah.
And there's some type of confirmation in there. Like, it's signals. You'll know and he'll know because it's a signal for both of y'all.
Right.
It's almost like a triangle almost. Like, if I'm looking here and he looking there, we still see the same thing, if that makes sense. So if he's saying that this is something that I want from y'all, that is ultimately the vision that he has for you. But it's important to know who you are as individuals. So when you do merge together, you will understand because it's a difference between knowing the vision and understanding the vision. Because when you understand it, that's when the work happens.
Right.
Because it's like, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know who I'm supposed to be. I know what we're supposed to become. And once you have that clarity, because clarity is one of the number one things too, because if you ain't sure about it, what you're doing it for to begin with.
Right.
So it's deep. It's real deep.
I love how you brought up clarity. I love how you said you have to understand the vision, because you're talking about Mary and Joseph conceiving, bringing forth Jesus. But every marriage has something to bring forth. Every marriage has something to bring forth. It ain't Jesus, but it's still purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's still purpose. And for an angel to come to her, a vision was given to her. And a vision was given to us as wives, right? for our family. But I want you to notice how the angel didn't come to Joseph. The angel went to Mary first.
Mhm.
That's who got it first. And a lot of people don't. You're like, as a wife, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this and I got to do that. But sometimes we look to our husbands as the visionary because we are told pastors, we're going to say pastors, but not pastors as far as female pastors. We're going to go on the masculine side, the man side. When we look at men, we say they are the visionary. But if you look at that scripture, it was the woman that was given the vision. The woman, not only was she given the vision, she was the carrier of the vision. The man, and I love how you said the man submitted. That is something that a lot of times men have a problem with, submitting. But yet it was under the submission of Joseph that the birthing came to place. It came to life. Watch this. Without the stronghold, the hindrance coming from the husband, coming from the spouse. It came from other people. And we know life is real. Oh, yeah. It came from other people, but it didn't come from him because he submitted. Can you imagine the warfare she would have went through if he had not submitted and said that this is God? The amount of pain she would have went through during her birthday because he could not trust God. Come on.
She got a signal too. And her signal was he named him.
Woo! Come on. Come on. So he was girl.
That lets her know, okay, well, God got to be talking to him too.
Yes.
So he's the one who gave him the name Jesus. And that lets you know that his role is just as important.
Yes. And the thing we have to understand is I'm going to use when I got pregnant with Christian. Mm-hmm. Okay, my husband came to me. I didn't see another child for a long time. You know, I was fine with one. Okay, I'm just gonna be real. I was fine with one, and my husband came to me. Now, y'all got to understand alignment. You got to understand what you want. When I had my son at 29, I said, if I have another one, I'm gonna be 34. Then, you know, people was like, well, if you wait too long, they're gonna do more procedures. So I was like, okay, then it'll be 32. And I left it alone. I didn't think about it anymore. No more. Like it went out of my mind. He came to me and said, can we have another child? So he gave me a vision. But watch this. He actually gave me something I spoke. He gave me something I spoke. See, we have to understand that we, as wives and our husbands, both play parts. But we have to get out of our mind that there's a tradition to it. That there's a certain way it occurs.
Yeah, we'll miss it.
We will miss it every time.
I know I would get hit upside the head with it. I still missed it because of tradition. It sucked. I wish I knew that the things that I know now, if I knew it then, it's a lot of other stuff that could have changed, but it happened the way that it was supposed to.
Right.
Because now I'm telling my mama stuff, and she's like, girl, if I would have known that when I was... But, you know, it happens that way.
And the thing we have to understand is the purpose of marriage is not lovey-dovey. Please throw that out. It's not. Dating is a part of marriage, but I want you to look at it like departments in a company. Dating is a part of it. Dating is a department in marriage. Yeah. It's a department in marriage. Communication is another department in marriage, right? We got submission is another department in marriage, right? We got to understand the different departments that's in our marriage, but this is the thing. None of us are going to go through the departments the same. We're going to go through them differently. And the problem is we're trying to figure out, okay, my mom did it like this. I don't want to do it like that. So no. You don't do it like this because you don't want to do it like that. You do it like this because of the vision. You got to do it because of the vision, not because of how you don't want to end up a certain way. Oh, yeah. What is the vision of your marriage?
Yeah, we have to stay focused on that part too, because it'll put you in a space to where you start to make the wrong decisions.
Right.
And it'll take you down a road that you never thought that you would go down.
Yeah.
I know, because I went down the road, turned around, came back, and went down the right.
But that's part of the process, though, because we have to make sure, this is the thing we got to understand. In marriage, we have to make sure that we get out of the pit in time.
Yeah.
We got to, because there are pits in marriage. And we got to make sure we get out of it in time. That means when that hand is reached, it may be reached when you're mad.
Oh yeah.
When you're mad,
that's the number one time.
Come on.
I remember one time me and him got into it so bad. And he ended up leaving the house, and I was like, I don't know what's going on with him, but he ain't acting like himself. So I know it ain't him. What's up? Just talking to God in my own, in my own way. And he was letting me know, like, he in a fight right now. This some Jacob and Israel stuff. I need you to pull him out.
Come on.
I was like, pull him out? What I got to do it? You can't tell someone I got to do it.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. So I had to zero in on the him that I knew to let him know I'm here. Come reach for me. Come on, like I got you. Can you get out? But that took a moment of submission for him too.
Right.
Because he had to trust the God in me to let him know, okay, she really do. Like, I got to do this. I got to keep going. I got to keep fighting. And that's when it just started to fall off. And it's almost like you can see it. The demeanor changed. The words changed. And it was like a sigh of relief. That was the first time I ever experienced it, and being able to just see it firsthand. I heard about it, but that was different.
Yeah.
Because I was upset. And it was like, it really don't even matter how I feel right now. Like, I got to do it in order to keep moving.
Right.
I felt like I was kind of like in a military type thing. Like, I needed a camouflage jacket and everything. To, come on, buddy. Because we got to go.
Right.
Like, and I feel like sometimes that's how God do us, even when we get out in our feelings, because it gets so hard sometimes. But it's like, okay, I understand how you feel. You just come on. We'll talk.
Right.
But you still got to keep moving.
Exactly.
That's the most important part. Because once you stop, it's like,
right,
you go through all of this for nothing. And I ain't going through
nothing. Come on. That's real.
Like, even if I got to crawl or slide my leg, somebody give me a cane or walk, whatever. Because you got to get to where you're going. Because you didn't see it for no reason.
Exactly.
You ain't going through trainings for no reason. Because you ever been sitting down and learning something, and you just sit here like, what in the world am I even? Because this ain't even interesting to me. So why am I so engaged in learning and taking it so easy? It's provisions that I'm picking up. So it's like, eventually I'm gonna use it. So let's see, this is gonna be interesting, on how I'm gonna be able to implement this, and not even realizing it could be an example from something so small.
Right.
That'll turn a whole situation around.
Wow. And man, Jesus. And turn a whole situation around. It's so many times you will think you're going in one direction and you're really going in another direction.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, Lord, what are you doing? And the whole time, God is doing exactly what you want him to do.
Yeah.
And it's like.
But it never looked like it, though.
Never.
It never looked like it. And that's why I make sure that I get up in the morning and I'm appreciative of right now.
Right.
Because right now is really important.
Yeah, definitely.
Right now is the equivalent to the mat of the man that was laying on the mat that couldn't walk.
Mm-hmm.
When he told him to take up his mat and go home. He told him to carry his mat for a purpose.
Right.
Because he was going to get some questions like, how you do that?
Right.
How was you able to, who helped you? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was more so the introduction of, I would be able to help somebody else.
Right.
So carrying the mat is important. Like, we have to remember the moments that's hard.
Yes.
Because how you get through it, that's going to be the testimony.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So we need stuff like this because it's strength training.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. Like, blessings can be a blessing to somebody that feel like it's a blessing, but the person that's carrying it is like,
Come on,
it's
Spain.
heavy.
Yeah.
Because
Heavy.
right now it's a lot of heavy stuff.
Right.
But to other people, it's like, girl, you fine. You make it look easy.
Right.
I know.
Right. And that
You
it's
know.
the strength, and not only the strength, but it's the transformation.
Exactly.
You're transforming into, and you're like, okay, why am I carrying so much?
Mhm.
Because there's so little time you have before the full transformation.
Mhm.
See, I mean, if we gonna do it the right way, I'm just saying, we gotta understand that there's a time frame in which God wants to do things in our life, and it's like, okay, you finna carry this, and you finna carry that, and you finna carry this. But this is the blessing in it. I have the ability to let God fight with me. See, I know some people say God is going to fight it for me. No, God's going to fight it with you, because you too are in the battle.
Oh yeah, that most definitely
Yeah.
require your participation.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you say no, he ain't gonna drag you. He gonna be like, yeah, if you have a temptation, you're gonna sit right there.
Right. Because if and the thing is, I know the footprints in the sand, he carried me through, but this is the thing. If you did not feel the pressure that came with the carrying, how can you fully transform?
You can't.
You can't. Exactly. And the thing about vision is, vision does not look like your current moment. And therefore, there has to be a transformation that takes place in order for the vision to become life.
Yeah, that's why it's important to write it all down, because you need proof that you seen it back then.
Ooh, that's
It
good.
shows it's like a receipt for,
right.
you know, like, this is something that I seen back in the day. Here you go. There's the date.
Yes.
See, I don't know whether or not you noticed, but even with my vows when you married us, the date on it is 12/20/2020. I wrote this is what happened. I was in meditation and I seen the words, write your vows. I was like, it might be too early. Like, I gotta go wash my face again or something, because write your vows. And you know what we was in the middle of. And I was like, this, okay, I'm gonna just do it. So those words ain't even mine.
Jesus.
When I went back and looked at what I had wrote, I was like, this is dangerous.
It unlocked.
It was so dangerous, Lord. And that's what helps me understand now.
Right.
Because you can't say everything and don't really understand what you're saying when you say it. But when you know he told you to say it, it's for a purpose. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I was writing it, I never read it. I never read it, and we didn't read it until the New Year.
Wow.
So when I read it at New Year's, I was like, what did I get myself into? Because this is scary. Saying that it'll be this, saying it'll be that, this what we gonna do, blah, blah, blah. And this is just the beginning.
Right.
So I'm like, this all of what we supposed to do? And he chilling, not worried about the sun in the sky. Everything is good, the wind blowing nice, and I'm over here stressed out. Like, what in the world did I say?
Right.
But that came with the vulnerability that I had with God in my private moment.
Right.
And he helped me understand that when you let go, you allow me to do what it is that I need to do. Because a lot of times I like to be in control.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I had the hardest time with submission. Like, I'm still in the middle of it, to be honest. Because, like, when I'm so tough, and I'm not only tough on other people, I'm tough on me.
Right.
So it's like, if I don't get it together, who will? And I have to understand that at some point I got to let go of the stuff that, I've been through. I've seen other people see, I've seen around me. I gotta let it go, because it's putting a wall up.
Right.
And not only did it put a wall up for me, it put a wall up for him too. So it's like we just getting in the groove of dropping it.
Right.
Because at that point, it wasn't even on purpose. It's just that we've been conditioned that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when he telling me like, I don't mean to be this way. It's just who I am. I'm like, don't even claim it because we finna do something different. So let's just start from scratch.
Right.
So the wall that you got, understand that it is one, first of all, because if you don't know it's there, you ain't gonna acknowledge it. Understand that you have the wall and know that at some point you gonna have to let it go.
Right.
But don't let it go to me first. Take it to God so he can help you understand better.
That's good.
And that way it'll be easier for you to say, I'm here.
Right.
And you'll get more comfortable with being naked, if that makes sense. Like, you won't have to hide certain stuff because you might think that, I'm not really attracted to what it is. Because at that point, it don't even matter. We out here in the deep. Like,
right.
we in the middle of the sea somewhere, and you talking about you got trust issues, let it go.
Let it go.
Because that's really what submission is anyway. Is total vulnerability.
And I think that's one of the reasons why in the word it says trust only God.
Yeah.
And I think with that, we have to, as we trust God, it's not really about trusting who you're with, but trusting God that he brought you all together.
Yeah.
And you and him both like are designed to help each other. Whatever those weaknesses are, you are to pluck out that God is using you. And I want to use a house, for example. Okay, so say you've envisioned a house and you're going to build that house from the ground up. You can make a decision because things get hard to settle for a house that's already built, but it wasn't built on your vision. It was built on somebody else's vision. Or you can work harder to build it from the ground up, but know that it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
It's not going to be pretty because you may run into certain things, right? It may not go as fast as you want it to because you're building it. And that's what we have to understand about marriage. You may not get the results as fast as you want them to, but if you're building, it's going to eventually come to the structure in which it's supposed to be.
It's the small drip.
I like that.
It's
that's it.
Drip. It all adds up.
Yeah.
Like, people feel like if I think, you'll see those questions like, would you take, I think it's like $1 million now, or would you take 5,000 a week for life? Give me run that $5,000 a week to get with half of that going to probably investments in another place it did, because
it adds up.
It's gonna accumulate, and you have to trust that what you like, what he put in you. You have to trust in that,
right?
And that alone, because if you trust on, I'm just gonna look at what this is right now, and I can run with it, or you can look at it for a long term,
right?
That's the thing. People we want microwave stuff. Don't nobody like cooking in the crock pot no more.
Right.
The food's still gonna be good.
It's still gonna be good. It's gonna be better.
It's gonna be better when you let them juices just
marinate.
Yeah. When you let it intertwine with whatever it is you got in there.
Right.
Versus putting this hot packing in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Not only would it be good, but it'll be more filling.
Oh, that's good.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be hungry no more.
Yeah. And we have to really understand that what we have to put in it, nothing is a waste. Nothing is a waste. Even when you got that attitude and you got into that argument, it wasn't a waste. You had to see you. How can you see your growth unless there's an explosion? You won't be able to see where you grow. Like, it is what it is. Like, I don't know if I'm able to get angry unless you make me angry. And then I'll know, okay, I still gotta work on me. I thought I had it. No, I missed it. I still need a little work. And that's what it is. It's to help us get better and better and better. Because when God gives us something, he doesn't want to say, I'm giving it to you and now I got to take it back. Mm-hmm. Now I got to take it back. But a lot of people, because they go into marriage with a vision of just lovey-dovey, a vision of I'm so in love right now, like but no purpose,
Yeah.
no purpose in the earth. In the earth, like right now, shout out, you got on his coat right now, and
I stole it.
y'all, if you need your yard done and you are in the Warner Robins, Macon, Georgia, Middle Georgia area, you call her husband, Quinn. Yes.
Can I see the
Yeah,
name?
478-955-4976. Right. And see, the thing that we got to understand is, even in that was a vision.
Yeah.
And now you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a vision. So imagine where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in marriage. Like, I remember years ago, before my husband and I got married, we were in church and we were in prayer, and I seen us like in our 50s. In our 50s. And I was like, what in the world? I seen it and I'm like, how is this possible? And it was crazy because I am a writer. But it's like I write everything down, and I would write stuff. But God showed me who he was to become. I would see who he is become. Let me tell you, but this was the thing that tried to kill it. What I see. But God showed me what's coming. But what's trying to kill it is what I see, because what I saw was he became someone, but I was still there. So that lets me know that I'm a key. I'm a key. And I'm the key that unlocks the man. The man that God orchestrated for him to become.
Oh yeah, that's same for us too, because we dated back in 2011, and I was just like, you get on my nerves, but it's something I don't know what it is. It was like I seen him, but I couldn't see him. If that makes sense. So fast forward 2016, I seen a vision of, I didn't know whether we was married or what, but it was like a black tie event. And I was like, oh, we fine. We is fine. And I was like, okay, so, I thought I had a little comfort. Little did I know I had to go through all of that to just get here.
Right.
So it's kind of like he showed me the trailer before the movie.
Oh, that's good.
It was like he showed me different flashes, like flashes of scenes, if that makes sense. And I was just like, dang, that's nice.
Right.
But when I thought back on it, I was like, well, what happened to the stuff that I wasn't gonna agree to? But he ain't gonna show you that, because if he don't show you the good part first, you're not gonna work for it. And I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm holding on to, because I know I didn't see that over 10 years ago, that this is somebody that I could.
Right.
And I back then I wasn't one of them type of people. I wasn't doing no relationships. I didn't really get up on people like that. Right. I was just like, we can have a conversation. We can go get some food. But when you mention relationship, I am running.
Oh, girl, you sound like me.
I am running, because I didn't want the commitment, especially with me being young. And I had a few different people that I was talking to. So I was just like, I didn't want to, I don't want to be tied down by nobody, because now ain't my time to be tied down. So I just don't want it. But eventually, I'm married now. He probably cracking up. He like, if we had got married then, we know we would have been divorced, because both of us was crazy. But yeah, I seen something in him then, and I never really understood what it was then, but I do now. And it's like he developed my characteristics in order to trigger his. So it's like, if I start something, he'll be like, well, what that is? What you got going on? Oh, you interested? Come on over here. But it was like, I was the starter. So, you know how you start a fire? And it was like me just lighting the match. And then if I did it enough, a flame will come, and he'll be like, "Dang, you was right. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to do that." And that's when implemented change.
Right.
So from 2011 to now, both of us completely different people. And it all came from, now that I'm looking back on it, I was the one to initiate, like, this is something we need to do.
Right.
But it didn't happen until
and you got to do that. And I think sometimes you get into a place of, will he receive it?
Yeah.
Or will he think I'm trying to be his mama? I ain't trying to be your mom, right? I'm trying to help you and help you become. And it's amazing you say that, because even with me, people know I'm all about faith. But when it comes to my husband, he got crazy faith. Like, I got faith, a lot of faith, but he got that crazy faith. Like, I'm like, did you really do that? Like, did you really just do that? And I'm like, oh, if I could just get that, God help me get there, right? And it's a beautiful thing to see, because especially when you already got faith, to see somebody else and you're like, whoa, you really did that. Like, you ain't even, like, you ain't scared. Because, with faith, you can get scared.
Oh, yeah.
You can get scared, because it's like, okay, I'm finna do this, but I don't know what it's going to be, and it's like, Lord, don't slap me in the face, And so, but one of the things I've seen by watching him is the only thing that really stops us is ourselves. Because if we really want it, we initiate faith, but we also got to understand that it takes work. So if you're not willing to initiate the work behind it, you might as well just sit down.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to initiate that work, you might as well go all in.
Yeah, might as well. That's how it's all or nothing. That man came home one day and said he quit his job. I was like, you did what? You did what? Okay. Cool. I'm gonna go cry in the corner, but cool. but first I had to believe in him though. I did, because when he originally told me about the landscaping company, I was like, well, let's just do it.
Right.
But he was scared. I was like, you know what? Oh, you think I got something for you? I went and got that LLC. I was like, congratulations, Merry Christmas. Here you go. So by the end of the year, I want to see something.
Right.
So by November of last year, because I got it like January, around about this time, I had got it last year. And by November, he was like, man, I got to do something. Well, you got your LLC, so now you ain't got no excuse. So you got to just do it. Be like Nike. And he did.
Wow.
Quit his job. The next day he was cutting.
Wow.
Getting calls left and right. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, God, just make it easy for him. Just make it easy for him. Like, just let people call him. It don't matter where it come from. Just give him a little,
right?
Because he gonna need that. Because he transitioning from working for somebody to owning his own business.
Right.
That is tough.
Mm-hmm.
And he quit his job. Some got it.
Right.
So that what got the ball rolling. But now we waiting on a new season. I done hopped on the lawnmower and everything.
Really?
I did. It was fun.
Wow.
I ain't too crazy about all the dirt and stuff, but it was fun. I had a good time.
Oh my God.
One of his clients came outside like, that's so sweet, y'all out here. I was like, yeah, probably gonna be the last time you see me. I don't know about this, but I tried.
That's teamwork though.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely teamwork. It's amazing because, like you said, you did what? The surprises of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the walk you have with God that makes you say, okay, go for it. Because if you didn't have that walk with God, if you didn't have that relationship with God,
I probably would have went and got a job.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think that's so beautiful, because we get to a point where the more our relationship with God grow, the more we grow as individuals. Mm-hmm. And our marriages can't do nothing but grow.
Yeah.
But it's a two-way street, because at the same time now, I always tell people, if the other one ain't willing to work, you got a problem. Yeah. But pray, because God is real. And God will put people in situations so that they can see him. But I think when dealing with vision in marriage, it's going to be very, very, very important that you walk in agreement. That doesn't mean you do the same thing, but you do agree on the same things.
That's the most important, because if somebody disagree, even if you say you agree, but if your heart disagrees, how can we touch and agree?
Right.
Because it's almost like a magnet flipped on the opposite side. It's not gonna come together. It's gonna push further apart.
Right.
So you really have to get down to the nitty gritty of what it is that you agree on too. Because it's like, okay, well, how are we gonna do this? What are we gonna do? And actually have a plan on it, because it's scary.
Right.
Like just jumping out there, and then both of us have. Let me tell you something. I ain't clocked in over 10 years.
Woo, girl, you sound like me.
I have not clocked. I ain't touching nobody's clock.
You, girl.
I mean that. When I said it, I mean
I ain't
been back. I haven't been back. But
boss.
for him to do it, right. But for him to do it, it's like, this is pretty cool.
Right.
You know, just to show him the ropes of what it is that I'd have been through. Because I talk about it all the time, but he's just like, that's not really mattering to me because I have a job. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So once he just stepped out there and really started, he was like, this is stuff that nobody talks about. I'm like, you weren't listening to me this whole time. So I just been talking for nothing, is what you're saying. I done told you about this. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't.
Right.
We got to,
Yes.
But he getting it now.
Yeah, because when you are both entrepreneurs, it's a lot of hours.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of hours. It's not as easy as people think it is or make it seem. And you want to know if you got faith, become an entrepreneur. That's it. Become an entrepreneur. That's when you will know what kind of faith you got. That's when you will know whether or not, I'm sorry, mustard seed faith is good. Yeah, but it ain't enough.
It ain't enough.
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot, a huge amount. But the beautiful thing in it, I believe that as an entrepreneur, you see God more.
You do.
You see God more because you pray. I done had a job before. I pray more as an entrepreneur than I did when I had a job. The check is a guarantee.
Yeah.
But when the check is not a guarantee, especially from both parts, we praying. God, bring them now, the clients. Hello, bring the checks now. We praying, and we're seeing the miracles.
Oh yeah, because that was just out of the blue. But when he said that God told him to leave, stand on that, sugar. Do what you got to do, because I don't want to put you in a position where you start to question God. I can't do that.
Right.
My hands off it. If that's what you heard, that's what you heard.
Right.
I'm just trusting the God in you to, get this ball rolling, and I'm here if you need me. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of hindrances for people too, because it's like, who are you married to? Do they believe in you?
Right.
Do they believe the God in you? Do they believe that you heard what you heard?
Yeah.
And when you have somebody on your back, like, I don't know about this, and planting doubt.
Yeah.
That's the thing about vision too. Like, what are you planting in them?
Right.
Because I have to reassure him sometimes when it comes to what it is in business that you're gonna have to do.
Right.
Like, this is important, that is important, that you never really looked at before when you did have a job. So it's like you have to have patience too.
Right.
Because it's starting all over again.
Yes. And being married, being one, you have to understand if one has faith and one has doubt, there is no balance. There is no balance. And that is where, where we say you go back and forth with faith and doubt. You may have faith, but the friction is the fact that your partner does not have faith. And so you may not be tugging, but in the spiritual realm, you are.
Yeah.
You are tugging because your other spouse isn't. And it's crazy because what we have to understand is, like you said, God told him to leave his job, but we have to make sure that it's not premature.
Yeah.
Because the best scenario, and the Holy Spirit just dropped this in my spirit, is imagine when God tells you to do something and you hesitate. So you don't move until a year later, right? But he told you right then, but you didn't move to a year later. And a lot of people call that delay, but in all actuality, it was actually on time.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually on time, but we're taught it's delay. But the reason why you doubt it is because God didn't want you to move.
Yeah.
God didn't want you to move. That's
why I said it never looked like what you think it will.
Exactly.
Because it can become confusing because you fighting with what you knew and what you know.
Right. Come on.
And that it kind of sucks sometimes because it's a lot of back and forth in your mind, and that's where the battle lies. So what I do is I have to manipulate that flesh.
Oh, that's good.
So when I know he back and forth, what he don't know is I play the Bible in his sleep because faith come by hearing the word. So I just slide it over there on his side, press play, and roll over.
Wow.
It's gonna get in there either way it go.
Yeah.
Because okay, the stuff I do behind his back is he probably I want to see watching. He's probably gonna stay up tonight, like, oh, so you've been playing, so that's you, okay.
But I love that you do that because what I do is I play motivational speakers, educators, financial advisors. I play it all through the house.
Me too.
I do. And it's like you gotta receive it. But one thing I love is he don't turn it off. He be listening, and then whatever I watch, I send it to him, and I'm like. And I nag him. I'm like, did you watch today? Did you watch it? And then he may come back a week later and say, can you resend those videos to me so I can make sure I watch all of them? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, this is working out for my good.
Right. So that part don't work for me. I have to do it behind your back. Hey, you gonna listen?
But it's process though, because now that's what it is. But later it's gonna be, it's gonna grow.
I pray for God to come to him in dreams.
Yeah. Ooh, girl, yes.
Sometimes it's hard. Like when you really fighting, even though you want to do it, you can't. Right. Like it have been times where I couldn't even read. I just had to hit play on myself. Yeah. So I knew if it worked for me, it'll work for him too.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah.
Because it's some days.
I manipulate it. I sure will.
Right. That's good.
He gotta get it.
He got to.
We gotta be on the same page. We gotta walk together. So
exactly.
Even if I got to help you play catch up, I will.
Exactly. And see, that's even like with reading books. I'm reading more. And I'm not gonna say I can get him to do that. So what I do is I talk about it. Yeah. I talk about what I've read. And the thing that my husband knows is I want the best for him. So when it comes to certain conversations, he will listen to me. Now, and I had to catch myself because like even this morning, I was like, I had a dream. He'll listen to my dreams now. But he was like, I gotta go talk while I'm getting ready. And I was just like, nope. I'm just done. He said, you're not talking. Because in my mind, I was like, no, I need you to sit down while I tell you this. So I'm just going to wait it out. Now, the old me would have got frustrated. Like, really? So you can't take a moment to listen to what I got to say? But I've learned he really got something to do. And I could talk now, but he's only going to get bits and pieces. I need him to listen to me so I can wait, right? But that's the thing I do like. But has it always been like that? No. That came over time, actually. Because, at one point, I was like, you just never listen to nothing I got to say. Like,
I have to catch him while he, like, in the middle of getting ready to go to sleep. Because, that's when you really absorb what it is that you need to get when you in between consciousness and sleep. So I try to talk to him and have conversations, even though he do fall asleep on me. I'm like, so we just doing this today?
Right.
Okay, cool.
You do it while you sleep.
Yeah, I have to. But I got to get it in them,
right. Exactly.
Because sometimes it's real hard. Even when it's real heavy and you going through, you need somebody to do that. So I tell him, look, I'll be going through too. So this is what I need from you. Man, that man been praying for me every morning before he go to work.
That's beautiful.
But this is how it happened. I prayed to God that he come to him in a dream. and tell him that that's what I need right now. So when he got up and did it, I was like, oh, word? God, you work fast, don't you? Oh, okay, sugar.
Wow.
I'm with it. Let's do this. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. This week too, girl.
Oh, that's good.
And on the weekend.
That's good.
Yeah.
He keep going. It's gonna turn into a habit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my God.
But it's what he praying to get me. I'm like, Lord, please let him understand what he's saying, because he praying some dangerous prayers right now. He is.
Wow. That's good. Prayer is so important. Oh, you guys, we can go on and on with this conversation. If you are liking this, loving this, make sure you heart it up, heart it up, heart it up, heart it up. If you haven't shared the video, share the video, share the video. If you have certain topics that you want to hear about, please put it in the chat so we can know. All right. If you have certain topics you want to hear about, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. This is some great conversation.
Yeah.
For real. I'm excited about next week. Let us know if you're excited. Let us know if you're excited. If you did not share the video with a wife that you're connected to, make sure you share the video, you guys. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday. So go ahead and turn your notifications on. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook at Increase TV and also Increase Global.